Summertime. You don't need me to tell you exactly how important summer vacation was to a kid growing up, but what I will say is that summer vacation, for me, was generally my excuse to play a ton of video games. Being one of those boring kids that tried to do their homework and read a lot, I never really had as much time to sink into video games during the school year as I'd have liked. Sure, I'd dabble here and there, but I rarely got to actually finish anything until summertime rolled around. This lack of time is what really cemented summer vacation in my mind as the perfect chance to stay indoors and get things done. Most of my really seminal gaming memories revolve around either summer or Christmas break, and this is a tradition I've tried to uphold to this day, saving stuff specifically to play over the summer just to get those good summer vibes going. I didn't get a chance to play as much as I'd have liked to this year, but I did get some gaming done, and here's a list of all the games that kept me indoors all summer. I'll start with the most obvious one, Earthbound. Now, nobody ever believes me when I tell them this, but I actually owned Earthbound not long after it came out, mostly due to a love I had of games that took place in the quote-unquote real world. And, of course, the first time I ever got to play Earthbound was summertime. Something about the game has always screamed perfect summer adventure to me, from the fact it seems to be taking place right after school would have let out, to the fact I could, sort of, go to these places and also have an adventure, even if they wouldn't be full of possessed dogs and otherworldly horrors. I try to beat Earthbound every summer, and while I succeed less and less the older I get, hell, I only made it to Tucson this year before I got distracted, I at least make sure to give it a shot every summer, and I will continue to give it a shot every summer until there aren't any summers left. Next on my list is an old favorite I haven't touched in forever. I've always loved the Adventure Island series, but I'm particularly fond of Adventure Island 3. This game is specifically one of the earliest video gaming memories I have, and I'm willing to bet it's actually the third video game I ever played in my life behind Super Mario 3 and Mega Man 5. I have very clear memories of renting it a ton of times, and I thought Master Higgins and his little dinosaur pals were just the best thing ever. Upon revisiting it, I've found that the game holds up super well, even if the challenge is a little ridiculous sometimes, thanks to the touchy controls and constantly ticking health bar. And after spending a little time with the other entries in the series, including the Japanese-only Adventure Island 4, I still really think 3 is both my favorite Adventure Island game and one of my favorite NES platformers, period. Speaking of platformers, I was finally given my promised copy of Mighty No. 9. I've spoken at length about this game elsewhere, so I'll try to keep this brief, but I think the best way to sum up my feelings is to say I wasn't mad, I was just disappointed. There's a lot of really good ideas in Mighty No. 9, and every once in a while it's actually pretty damn fun, but those moments are kind of few and far between, and the whole thing is just weighed down by a really shitty difficulty curve and poor design decisions. I don't ever see it happening, but more than anything else I feel about this game, I want so badly for Concept to get a chance to make a second one, because we were so close this time, guys. But this is the game we got, and I played as much of it as I could stand. For whatever reason, I decided this summer would be a fine time to get back into Quake Live, or at least attempt to. I assume it was kind of for the same reasons I've been playing a lot of Splatoon recently. Multiplayer games are a great option when I don't have a ton of time and want to just kind of mess around and kill something. As you can probably tell from the footage, I've never been particularly good at Quake 3, despite having played it since it first came out. Heck, I even had the Dreamcast keyboard and mouse for the console version. But there's something about it I just find comforting nowadays. It takes an awful lot for me to get into modern shooters, and the fact I can easily still just play Quake 3 instead is a big part of why. Oh boy, No Man's Sky. Between this and Mighty Number 9, I was clearly feeling far more, optimistic this summer than I generally let on, and if I'm being honest, my reactions to the two were very similar. I didn't love them, I didn't think they were as bad as everyone else thought they were, and I'm likely not going to spend a lot of time with them going forward. I had a decent idea what No Man's Sky was going into it, and frankly, I kind of just wanted it as a nice, relaxing, walk-around space simulator. Largely it was, but after sinking a few hours into it and not really feeling like much of anything was happening, even despite my desire for not much to happen in the first place, I set it down and probably won't go back for a minute. Especially not when I'm being faced with Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Now, I'm a pretty big mark for the Deus Ex series in general, even the crappy second one, so I might not be the most unbiased opinion here. But I'm only a few hours into it, and I'm already totally smitten with Mankind Divided. It's honestly not a lot different than the previous game, Human Revolution, but that's fine because Human Revolution was friggin' fantastic. Character upgrades are a little streamlined, but not in a bad way. The dialogue choices sound a little more natural and are provided in a much better context, and the stealth aspects are just as responsive and well implemented as they were in the last one, even if it is kind of insane to imagine nobody in a bank lobby thinks it's weird a cyborg man just went into an air vent. It's a last-minute addition to my summer gaming list, but I'm loving the hell out of it, and it would probably be my favorite game of the year if not for Doom. Surprise, surprise, I know, but the new Doom absolutely blew me away and is my favorite game since Metal Gear Solid 5 came out last year, particularly after Fallout 4 kinda let me down. I've also written about this one elsewhere, but I really do have to say that Doom got everything right. It had the most fun and frantic combat I've experienced in a game released this decade. The setting and plot were amazing and keeping in line with previous games in the series, and I truly cannot wait to see where it goes next. You might, however, be wondering why you're just seeing screenshots, though. No matter what I did, or how hard I tried, Doom would just not let me record footage. And nobody on the internet had a good solution at the time either. So, instead, here's me playing Brutal Doom. You know what, this is actually pretty good too. Just pretend it's in HD or something. Anyway, as always, for Video-Tron 2000, I've been Tim. I hope everybody had a great summer, and you can count on another one of these next year.